Today, right here on ABS-CBN Sports, we're going one-on-one with UP Fighting Maroon Zavier Lucero. Zave, hope you're doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Thank you, Zave. And we got to speak actually in 2021 when you were still deciding where you would go. You've had 2 illustrious seasons with the Fighting Maroons. Can you describe your seasons with UP?
Now that I'm at the end of it, I wish it could have been years instead of just seasons in a year. But I don't think I can properly put it into words the experience that I've had at UP. I think, and in the Philippines, really, just because of the outpour of love and support that I've gotten, whether it's been the day I came in or the day I left. So I wish that I could somehow repay the fans. I'm just really thankful for my time here, the relationships I've made with some of my teammates, and it's been a pleasure for sure.
So next question, Zave, would be, what would be the biggest lessons or takeaways as a player, particularly in season 85?
I think for me, a lot of what's changed me as a person is having to flip my mind. Not even just the injury, it's been an up and down season for me as far as what I was expecting and what actually happened. So being able to come into this and come into every game with the mindset of just controlling what I can control in every aspect, going out there and doing what I can with the time I get and being able to thrive in whatever role that I was needed to fill. So I think that's both helped me as a player and helped me as a person, because I think just can control and constantly having a good attitude and choosing to be happy is something that I'm glad that I've gotten a little bit more hold of in my life going forward, because it's made all the difference for me this season for sure.
I want to get this out of the way first, Dave. The elephant in the room, of course, we're going to talk about your ACL. Just in case for our viewers who haven't really gotten to read articles yet, for the ones that are watching here on ABS-CBN Sports YouTube, what happened in the whole sequence? Can you take us through it from your perspective during that playing game too?
We were down by a good amount. I just checked back into the game in the fourth quarter. I think the whole game I was eager to try to get us back into it, because the opportunity we had to secure a championship in 2 games is much easier than 3 for sure. I took a drive left. And just routine, everything, something I do every single day. I tried to turn the corner to try to get around Chris Kuhn, the guy that was guarding me, and I just kind of felt my knees shift and then pain, obviously, and I went to the ground, and that was the rest of my season. That was the end of my season. I'm not too sure what caused that. I think it was just a freak accident, just a bad plant. I've seen it so many times on other guys. But as far as right now, I'm not too sure exactly what's going on with it. I still have to get home, do more tests, and right now, a specific I can get is that I injured my knee seriously, and I got to get a hold of it.
Did you hear something?
I felt a shift. I think it's impossible to hear anything in it. Right. There's 20,000 people in the drum, so no way I was going to hear anything, but I definitely felt a shift, and I was hoping that it was just my knee shifted awkwardly and then it shifted back, but obviously it's more serious than that.
Well, of course, hoping and praying for your speedy recovery, as well as not only the UP faithful, but all of the basketball fans in the Philippines. What was it like? Because we just according to articles, just correct me if I'm wrong with the details here, the next day you had to tell your team during practice or maybe during viewing, then you had to break the news to them. What was the atmosphere like during that moment?
I think I was the only one at that point that knew. I told a couple of my teammates that I'm closest with just a little bit beforehand, the rest of the team. And of course, Coach Gold, because he needed to know. But I don't think too many people knew my situation. So I felt like I had to go in there and just as soon as possible tell them that they weren't going to have me on Monday for game 3. And it was tough, because they didn't know the situation, and I could see on their face they didn't know it. And I'm still hoping that it didn't have an effect on how they viewed their chances going into that game. But obviously, I know who I am, and I know the impact that I bring on this team. And it sucks because I think things could have been different had I been out there on the floor. But a delicate and emotional time for sure at the meeting, just because you never want to see your teammate get hurt in a serious way, and definitely not before the biggest game of the season.
That's true. Zave, I was telling you this earlier before we started this. Some, I would say all, but some who would suffer and confirmed ACL injuries may not be able to walk even days after because there would be swelling. But you're out there, you stood it up, just in your normal clothes, even hit a free throw on your first try. You were telling me earlier, but maybe you could tell our audience now watching.
Yeah, I think from what I'm told, it helps to be in good shape prior to the injury. So I'm in pretty good shape, and I think that's helped me. And then from the day that it happened to the day of the game, just trying to get that swelling to go down. The plan was if I can get the swelling to go down and get some of my mobility, then maybe I could have a CJ Casino-like situation on my hands.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if I had had more time, because, you know, I had 4 days compared to CJ's like week and a half to strengthen my knee and bring the swelling down to be able to do what I can on the court, but just not in the cards for me. But I felt that it was essential for me to go out there and scoot up and, you know, jog around and just show that I'm all right for the fans and just for our team I'm just trying to do my part to give them extra motivation, you know, but came up short, so.
Dave, just for conversation, of course, congratulations to the Ateneo Blue Eagles. One hell of a ride, one hell of a job. But just for conversation, just between buds, right? Or friends, when you talk about, what if Lucero was in Game 3? What would it have been like if you played in Game 3? What do you think the theme would have been? How the plays or how the game would have transpired?
My game is a steady source of like discipline and good play for our team. Because we didn't have that, I felt like I could see myself on the court, like inserting myself into situations that I felt like if I was there, we could have got a better shot or executed better. And, you know, it's tough for me to watch that game and not see that I could have made a difference. All trust in my guys, right? And I think that they could have got it done. And I think a lot of the reason that we didn't get it done was just because of the hole that we dug ourselves in that first quarter and just not being able to completely get over the hump. I think basketball is a game of runs, but when you go down by that much, your runs only get you within striking distance if you make another run after that. And Ateneo's, they're a good team and they play good basketball. So every single time we got close, they were able to, you know, deliver a blow that kept us at bay. I think it would have been different. I think that my offense and especially my defense could have been a difference maker out there. I think we struggled in the first half with our defense. I could have helped that, and then we struggled to make plays when we were making stops, executing on the other end. And I think that my decision making and discipline could have been definitely a difference maker for us.
Still, credit is due. Guys played their hearts out. Carl Tamayo, Harald,
oh man, no
Henry
doubt.
Galinato, they
No
couldn't have
doubt.
done it better, no doubt. But of course, that's just for conversation. Going now to the technical free throw. Maybe many are still kind of confused because when that happened, they were celebrating. There was a technical free throw. And then I know you said in some sound bites that you wanted to check in there, but to clear the confusion, but what happened there for you to hit the technical free throw?
Obviously, the game was done. There was 0.7 seconds on the clock, and Ateneo's whole bench ran onto the court and started celebrating, right? So the referees can't end the game until the buzzer sounds. I was already on the court as well because I just wanted to console my guys. They got everybody off the court and said there was a technical. And at that point, the plan was that when the game was decided, I wanted to check back in. I guess to kind of selfishly get my flowers, you know, and I just didn't want to, you know, it's such a unique environment. I didn't like the way I left it. So I wanted to be able to check in one more time and I guess have a proper send off. I kind of looked at the coaches and wanted to check in, but there was nobody that was going to take that technical free throw except for me. So yeah, I took off.
Just me. I'll do it, coach.
Exactly. So I mean, the only thing that was going to stop me if it was a legal substitution or something, but I was already on the court and it was mine. No one else was taking that.
That's true. And that was your first attempt.
Yeah, and I almost missed it.
Yeah, your release was like, oh, is this gonna go in? Yeah.
I'm just glad I got the roll. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And no, speaking of the environment, only you guys could take us through this. I guess the last time from observation, Araneta Coliseum in the UAP game, it was that packed, was from distant memory. But you guys brought it back. What is it like playing in an UP Ateneo Finals game?
It was wild. I mean, you just get chills the whole game because of how loud it is. And, you know, they started turning on their flashlights and waving those around. Our side did. You know, our fans are great. Our community is great. I think it's the definitely the best in the league. It's some of the best in the world. We had made that run where Henry got that dunk and James made a 3, and then there was a timeout. We were down by 6, and that's when the whole UP side had their flashlights on their phones out. I'm not even a part of that timeout because I got a flashlight and I started doing that too. It's just one of the most amazing experiences for sure. And even when I stepped out to take that free throw, just the crowd cheering for me was just so heartwarming for me. I'll ever be able to experience something like that again. I mean, this whole UAP, just the outpour that the fans have out here, it's crazy and it's unique for sure.
All right, now save that you have maxed out your playing years and it's actually the off season. It's the lull time. What's next in your recovery?
I go home, I heal up, and then I got to get in front of some teams because obviously this is going to be a little bit of an asterisk by my name moving forward in front of these pro teams. I'm not worried. I think for me and how I've matured, that's another thing that I've learned in my career and in my life is that, you know, you're gonna have to prove it at every level on every team. So I've had to prove it from high school to college to here, and it's gonna be no different when I get back from my injury. Just get me in front of some teams and I'll prove it again. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to get some rest and be able to build my body up and be able to come back stronger than I am right now. And I get in front of some teams and I start making some noise again for sure.
So you're going back home to the States to recover?
Yeah, it makes more sense for me just because my whole support system's out there. I'll have the help that I need from my family. Even my friends out here, all my teammates are going back to their provinces, they're going back to their country. So it'd be better for me to go back home and be able to focus while being absolutely comfortable.
Pardon me if I'll ask this, Save. People are wondering if you've had any offers from pro teams elsewhere, here and abroad.
Yeah, obviously that's going to be tabled for the time being. Who knows if I'll get that same interest and same looks come 9 months. Hopefully, I was going to have a few options after this season as far as if I could play abroad. And even if it was, I was planning on playing for like Mighty Sports this January, and obviously the PBA knows who I am. So if I wanted to get into that arena, then that would have been an option. But I can't even think about that right now because I just have to get ready and get well before I can start worrying about going pro.
Well, we're excited to talk to you again in a couple of months when you are fully healed and recovered, and we'll see where Zavier Lucero takes it from there. Lastly, Zav, if you are going to give a message to the UP community, everyone's watching you right now, what would you say to them?
To the UP community, man, I can't thank you enough. I love each and every one of you guys for the support that you've given both me and my teammates over the past 2 seasons. And as long as you've been a fan, I wish we could have ended it the right way and ended it how we were supposed to, but that's just the way of the world, I guess. Can't win everything. I'm glad I was here and able to help deliver one championship. I couldn't thank you guys enough for the support and love that I've gotten through my time here, through this last bit, this difficult bit that I've had to deal with. You guys have made it a lot easier for me to push forward, and you've inspired me to come back stronger. So from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys and thank you so much.
There you have it, Zavier Lucero right here, one-on-one with the UP Fighting Maroon right here on ABS-CBN Sports. Zav, thank you so much. Stay safe and God bless.
Thank you.